we go. 9.1, Pythagorean Theorem. Tell your neighbor what the Pythagorean Theorem is.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Okay, so just for those who need a quick review, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That means if I take a right triangle, it only works on a right triangle, and I add the square of the legs, this leg squared plus that leg squared, it'll give you the square of the hypotenuse. Now there's multiple ways to prove this. One picture that you'll see a lot is you'll actually see a square off of each leg. That area plus this area, if this has a length of b and that has a length of b and these are right, okay, they're squares. That has an a and a is equal to this area. So if I were to combine this area of a and the area of b and put them together, it would give me the exact area of c. That's what the Pythagorean theorem is saying. It's saying the area of the square coming off of this side plus the area of the square coming off of this side is equal to the area of the square coming off of this side. That's one way to prove it. We could go. We're not going to do that, but you could go through and actually spend time making those. Okay? That's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Some things that will save you a lot of time with the Pythagorean theorem are knowing the Pythagorean triples. For instance, the one we did on our warm-up today is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. Okay? If we were to calculate that, that would be 9 plus 16 is equal to 25. Everyone with me there? Okay? Well, if I doubled 3, I get 6. And if I double 4, I get 8. And if I double 5, I get 10. So that means 6 squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared. What is 6 squared? 36. And what's 8 squared? 64. Does that make 100? Yeah. And if I triple them, any multiple of those become Pythagorean triples. Why do we need to know Pythagorean triples? Because it saves us time. Like if I give you this triangle, and I just say, hey, here's one leg, and here's another leg, find that. It's nice if you just know the Pythagorean triple 3, 4, 5. You go, oh, it's just 5. Rather than you going, okay, 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. That means 9 plus 16 equals c squared. Okay, that's 25. C squared. And we take the root. We get 5. Root of 25, I guess, is 5. Okay, that takes forever. Okay? Now, there are times you're going to have to do that, but if you can remember the 4 Pythagorean triples, there's more than that, but the first 4, even if you can just remember the first 2, those are the 2 that I reference the most. 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13. Okay, 5 squared plus 12 squared is 13 squared. And the multiples, so double it, triple it, and then they put the general form. You can do any multiple of that. Okay, question? No? Just Aaron? You have 8, 15, and 17, and 7, 24, 25. Okay, you can come up with little tricks to memorize them. It's up to you. Okay? I will say they save you time. All right. Go ahead and turn the page, or close the book, or do something where you can't see that page. Like I'll turn it over. Now, tell your neighbor 3 of the Pythagorean triples. Okay, pause. Stop. 3, 4, 5 is 1, but you can't use 6, 8, 10 then, because that's in the same family. So 3, 4, 5. What's another one? 7, 24, 25, and 8, 15, 17. Is she right?
Yeah.
I think we had that one up here. Yes, so 7, 24, 25, 8. What's the one with 8? 8, 15, 17, and 5, 12, 13, and then the easy one, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Figure out a way to memorize them. That'll help you out. All right. Okay. All right. Turn the page, please. The converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Without reading it, tell your neighbor what it would be. All right. Hey, time's up. So, hey, the Pythagorean theorem says if it's a right triangle, then a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The converse just says, if a squared plus b squared equals c squared, then it's a right triangle. So what happens if a squared plus b squared does not equal c squared? It definitely is not a right triangle, but there are ways to figure out what type of triangle it is. So if you think of C as always your longest side, okay, and if you focus in on C, and I'm going to give you an easy way to remember this if you pay close attention. Okay, you either have a right triangle, an acute triangle, or an obtuse triangle. If you focus in on C, if C squared equals a squared plus b squared, so if C squared is equal, then it's a right triangle. If C squared is less than the other two, what type of triangle? Acute. Now the reason I have you focus in on C is because now I can say, hey, if it's less than, well, acute means less than what? 90. If C is less than, C squared is less than, then it's acute. If C squared is greater than, then it's obtuse. Is it that easy? It really is that easy if you focus in on C. See what I mean? Yeah. All right. I see. See? Okay. Is that how you spell it? SI, right? Sports Illustrated. All right. I get SI at home. Okay? All right. Forget it. Moving on. Next page. I want you to take a look at numbers number 1, number 4, number 7, number 8, and 9. If you have time, you can look at the other ones. 1, 4, 7, 8, 9. Off you go, work with your groupies. It's on page 246. Okay, I realize you're not quite done, but I want to do 1 and 4 real quick. So number 1. Here we go. Let me get another piece of paper so I can. What? We're looking at 4. Number 1, we have 81 squared plus 108 squared is equal to x squared. That's that big number and that big number. Okay, put together is 18,225 equals x squared. X is 135. Is it a Pythagorean triple? Yes. Now, the reason I know it's a Pythagorean triple, well, how do you know it's a Pythagorean triple? Isaac, what do you think? Or excuse me, Carla, what do you think? Yeah. So it's 3, 4, 5 triangle. Divide that by 3, that by 4. Okay, you guys, anytime you get whole number values, that in some way is a Pythagorean triple. Like if it's a irrational number, you know, like root 5 as an answer, then it's not a Pythagorean triple. Now, it helps if you can figure out what that triple is prior to doing all this work. That's the benefit of it. Okay, Carla, did you figure that out ahead of time? That it was a Pythagorean triple before you worked it out? Okay, good. So if you can say, hey, divide by 3, divide by 4, great, I know that. That means this one, I would have to, so 27 here, 27 times 4 is 108, and then 27 times 5 would be 135. That gives you that answer. Okay? Number 4, it's not a Pythagorean triple. Please note that when you have 6 and 10, it's really easy to start thinking it might be 3, 4, 5 on this one, except for the 10 would have to be here. Okay? So we get 6 squared plus 10 squared is x squared. That's 136 is equal to x squared. And then take the root, and the good question up here, do you have to simplify? You always have to simplify. Even if it doesn't say simplify, go to simplest form. Okay? So that becomes 2 root 34. Do not round unless they ask you to. All right. Any questions? Okay. Hey, number 7. You see a lot of problems like these where it just gives you like a random situation. From school, you biked 1.2 miles due south and then 0.5 miles due east of your house. or 1 2/10 and 5/10. Okay? They don't really tell you where either your house or the school are, but then they start talking about east and west. So when you're doing that, does anyone know how to start that type of problem? Maddie, what do you think?
So what I did is I used those as like the legs or whatever.
Okay.
And then I squared them and I got 0.25 plus 1.44 equals 1.65.
Okay, can I pause you there? So Maddie's using these as the legs. I'm going to put it in a coordinate plane to do this and do the same thing she's doing there. All right, so if you bike 1.2 miles due south, that's going this way. Okay, if you think of south, north, east, and west. Okay, if I go down 1.2 miles, there's 1.2, and then east, 0.5 miles, and it's not going to be to scale, 0.5. Okay, I have 1.2 and 0.5, and then you said that those were legs, so you drew a right triangle from it?
Yeah.
Okay, I better move my 1.2. Let's put it over here. And now that you have it in that format, if it helps, you may not even put it in that format, but you could draw it off to the side here. That's 1.2 and 0.5, and you're looking for that. So what'd you get, Maddie?
I got he would have biked
0.393 miles?
0.39 fewer miles.
Oh, 0.39 fewer miles. Okay.
The hypotenuse was 1.3.
Good. So if you do a squared, b squared, c squared, you get 1.3. And they're asking how many more fewer miles. Well, 1.2 and 0.5 is 1.7. Yeah, so it'd actually be 0.4 miles. 0.4 miles or 4/10 of a mile less. All right. That does not mean he should cruise through people's yards if there's not a street there. That's bad. People get mad at him. All right. Any questions? What do you guys think on number 8? Did we get there yet? All right, let's give you time for 8 and 9 real quick. Yeah, so the 1.2 and the 0.5. 1.2 and 0.5 is the 1.7. The 1.3?
Yeah.
That's a squared, b squared, c squared. That's
Yeah. No, 1.69 is.
you take the rule.
And then you square. Oh.
Hey guys, there are some questions up here on how we got 1.7. 1.2 and 0.5 is the 1.7. And then a squared, b squared, c squared gave you the 1.3 on that one. Hey, which one's C on the number 8? Yeah, the biggest one. That's always C. So really, I'm testing C 90 squared plus 216 squared. Okay, we want to know what 234 squared is compared to those. Is it equal? Is it less than? Is it greater than? What is it? That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay, so in this case, 234 squared, what's that give us? All right, very good. What do you guys think? You got to go and get the squares. So what is it? 54,000 what? What is 234 squared? Do I have anyone else second that? Okay, 54,700 and what? 56. What is 90 squared plus 216 squared? So that plus that. So you got 8,100 plus 216 squared. It's the same thing? So that means what type of triangle? They're equal. It's a right triangle. Hold on, Carla. All right, here we go. Which one's the longest side? Root 3. All right. Now, this one's a little tougher. I gave you plenty of time. Let's start with the difficult side. What's 1 squared plus 1 squared?
2.
All right, let's try that again. What's 1 squared plus 1 squared?
2.
It is 2. Yes, it's 1 plus 1. All right. Hopefully we did not use our calculators there. And root 3 times root 3. Anytime you multiply a root by itself, you get the thing that is inside the root. So, this is c squared. Is c squared greater, less, or equal? Greater. Therefore it is obtuse. Pretty cool stuff. Hey, good job. Good participation.